Britannia rules the waves, the patriotic song used to say, and the British naval empire was built in the southern town of Portsmouth. But with Britain's imperial star fading, the government's announced that shipbuilding is to be stopped in Portsmouth. But the government also said shipbuilding jobs in Scotland might transfer to Portsmouth if the Scots vote for independence next year. Suddenly Portsmouth's workers find themselves in a political game, their futures likely to be determined by a decision taken not by them, but by the Scots.
I think what the government is doing is saying to people in Scotland, look, we can put some money your way, but if you vote for independence, we're going to take it all out. In other words, I don't think it's a bribe, I think it's blackmail.
Save the shipyard!
Up to now, there's not been much complaining among the English that they have no say in the future of the United Kingdom. All the same, there are plenty who think Scotland does very nicely indeed off the backs of English workers. The news of shipbuilding jobs being lost here and yet saved in Scotland has brought to the surface a really surprising aspect of the national debate about Scottish independence, that while the Scottish nationalists have yet to convince a majority of Scots of the benefits of going it alone, a surprisingly large number of English people are in fact supportive of Scottish independence on the argument that the English economy would be better off without them. Travel through England and you'll struggle to find many English people who think the country would be damaged by Scottish independence. But Portsmouth's not the only place whose future depends on how the Scots vote. This is the border town of Berwick-on-Tweed, England's most northerly outpost. Berwick has changed hands 14 times through the centuries between the English and the Scots. The people here now routinely cross the border, live on one side and work on the other. And as the local newspapers found out, the unanswered questions about an independent Scotland have left a lot of people feeling nervous.
I think people in Berwick and North Northumberland know how important Scotland is and the services it provides and the employment opportunities, because there are, as I've mentioned, there are businesses that operate on both sides of the border. So there is a dependence on each other in this area for sure.
And in a sense then Berwick worries that it might be less well off if Scotland were to go independent potentially.
I think people do worry about that, yeah, absolutely.
Up to this point, the overwhelming opinion in England towards the vote in Scotland is indifference. In reality though, Portsmouth and Berwick won't be the only places in England whose future will be shaped by a vote in which they have no say. Laurence, Al Jazeera.